Wow, what a night I actually had playing Resident Evil 4. It came out yesterday, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my full opinions. I haven't completed the game yet, but I've reached chapter 13, so that's about 3/4 into the game, and I can already tell where this is going to go and how it's going to end, so I'm just going to kind of give my opinions thus far and tell you how I feel about the game. And IGN actually gave it a 10 out of 10, and I mean, it does deserve that. I'm going to agree with them. It does deserve the 10 out of 10 rating. I had a lot of fun, that's all I'm going to say, and I'm just going to kind of go in depth by talking about the storyline, the characters, and the gameplay itself to kind of tell you how it differentiates from the original from 2005, because it's completely different, because this isn't really a remaster, not like Dead Space. Dead Space was a remaster. People would call it a remake, remaster, kind of the same things, but the difference is a remaster is kind of changing little things about it, and a remake is kind of making a whole new game, and, you know, like, basically everything about the game has changed, and that is basically true. Everything about this game has changed from the original, but in a way it's only become better, in my opinion, because it's more modernized, and, you know, it has more things to do and more advantages and opportunities in the game. So it's been really fun for me to, you know, kind of just explore, and I've been trying to rush the story. Essentially, I've been kind of just playing through. I've been exploring a ton, so because the amount of time to finish the game is about 9 hours average, and if you're an explorer and you check out a lot of aspects of the game and try to get extra stuff while playing the story, then you will probably take up to 20 hours, almost 15-20 hours. It's a pretty fun game, and it can take a lot of time because each chapter is about an hour, and they'll get you hooked. If you like the previous Resident Evil 4 from 2005, or if you like any of the Resident Evil games, even the modern ones like Resident Evil Village, then you will 100% like this one. It is third person. I don't think you can switch it to first person, but honestly, it's cool having like a modernized third person version of Resident Evil, even though it's from the previous Resident Evil 4 game. It's just really cool, and I like how they've changed a lot, but at the same time they haven't really changed anything. So I'm just gonna talk about it. So let's go into the storyline. The storyline's the same. You know, you're there to save the president's daughter, and you meet characters along the way like Louise. You meet Ada during her mission, and then you also meet Krauser, Major Krauser, and, you know, he's kind of working for the religious guy. I don't know, but yeah. So, you know, you got all these characters from the past, from, you know, like Resident Evil 2, and just Leon's story specifically. It's really cool, and, you know, you meet a lot of characters. It's a really cool story, and I like all the characters. By the way, guys, no spoilers. I won't try to spoil too much, but for anyone who knows Resident Evil 4, then you'll know most of the stuff about the game, but I won't spoil it for anyone who still wants to play it, because, like I said, there are changes to the game that kind of affect how the story goes in this new game, so I won't say anything that will ruin your experience of it. But I just talk about some of the cool things I thought about it. So, my opinion, I thought it was a pretty good game. It was probably one of my favorite games. I like the original, and I do prefer it as my favorite game, but I think this new one is going to be my new favorite game, just because I like the modernized stuff, and it's changed a lot that really helps your experience while playing, like escaping villagers and kind of like better gunfights and fair gunfights. You might die because of the difficulty that you play on, but, you know, it depends on whatever. The old one, it was kind of difficult to get out of certain situations, especially now, even though they still have the default controls for the controller. I played on the Xbox controller, but it was a bit weird for me to play on the Xbox controller for the original Resident Evil 4. I couldn't really change a lot, because if I did, it would like bug the game out for some reason. I don't know if that's happened to anyone else, but I'm pretty sure that's another thing. But this new game, how it modernized with graphics, controls, movement, shooting mechanics, and everything, I feel it's really satisfying to play. I feel yeah, it's pretty fun when you get in a gunfight with a bunch of like horde of villagers or just any type of enemy, because there's a lot of enemies in the game. There's so many weapons you can use, and like frags and flashbangs. It's really fun, and I'll say this, that not many other creators might say, but the thing is, they call it a horror game. It's not a horror game because of like the scares or the jump scares that happen throughout the game. It's really about the fact that you have to survive without dying, and if you die, that's the thing that's really scary. That's kind of my thought about the horror experience, the horror survival experience, just in my opinion. But I think some other people will agree because they know, because if they played, then they'll definitely know. But yeah, let's talk about also the graphics. I thought the graphics looked amazing, probably the best graphics I've ever seen in a video game per se. I've run this on Series X. I played it for about 13 hours. It heated my Xbox a bit, but it didn't, it wasn't flaming hot, obviously. It's pretty controllable. This game definitely has probably the best graphics I've ever seen in, like, a game like this, It's newer. It's like Dead Space, not really, but Dead Space and Resident Evil 4, I think, had some of the best graphics I've seen this year, and probably overall in any video game, just in my opinion. That's what I've seen, but yeah, it looked really nice. There wasn't really any graphic issues. Sometimes the textures would load in as a cutscene's playing, but overall the game looked fine, and there was no like graphic issues or anything like that. So yeah, it was pretty stable. Let's talk about some of the stuff they implemented into the game, because there's a lot of new things that they put in this game that are known now, but some of them weren't put in the original, and this is because they modernized the game. So they actually put in crafting, which basically you can find materials throughout the maps in the game, and you can basically craft ammo, and obviously you can craft like healing stuff, like if you put two herbs together, but you can actually use gunpowder and other materials that you find to make ammo for specific guns. And this will take up usually 2 to 3 spaces in your inventory, but they're pretty useful if you don't run into ammo a lot, then you'll probably use that just to find more. That's just what I've seen. And it's a pretty cool feature. I think it's pretty nice, and it's pretty helpful, if you're in a situation where you didn't grab a lot of like actually pre-made ammo, then you can make some yourself like quickly when you're about to get hit, reload, and then blast the guy in the head. They also have stealth mode, which is basically if you crouch, you will be more stealthy to other enemies around you. Like when you're entering the village, you can actually crouch to the side, and then you can, quietly knife a person in the back. You can knife one of the villagers. You can knife a few, actually. If you want to be super stealthy, you can just assassinate the whole village, and no one will ever know somehow. But I didn't do it, but I know you can somehow. But that's really cool. You're able to be quieter, and you're able to avoid more villagers without them just screaming loud like the original. It was just really, I think that scared me the most in the original. It's not anything else in the game besides the screams that you would hear from the villagers when they would call you out and call like a horde over just to kill you. Like that was probably the most scary from the original, but I like the stealth mode. It's pretty cool, and it definitely will add a advantage to getting around places, being quieter, and avoiding more villagers and enemies. You can also use your knife as a parrying knife, which basically means like if you're about to be sawed by the saw guy, then you can basically parry. You can use the left bumper or whatever button on keyboard. You can use your knife, hold it out, and then use it as a parrier, and it will basically have durability to basically protect yourself from certain hits, from certain like things. Like if you're about to get thrown at an axe, then you can throw your knife out, and I think it will actually deflect it, which is pretty cool. And it's mainly used on any like the saw guy or the guy with the hammer that you can use, and your knife will basically parry that hit, which is pretty sick. There's a lot of cool new things in this game that I can keep going on and on and on about, but I think I would save some of these for a certain video. Like maybe I'll make videos about the characters in depth. Maybe if you guys want that, maybe I'll talk about Louise, Ada, Ashley, Krauser, and every other villain in this game, because I think this game has a lot of potential, and I really like Resident Evil 4. This might be like my new favorite game, in my opinion. I think it is. I'd give it a 10 out of 10. It's perfect in every single way, and I've had a lot of fun. I've been playing for 13 hours, and I'm on chapter 3. Or not chapter 3, sorry, chapter 13. There we go. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this short little video giving my overall opinion on the game, and I'll probably make more videos talking about this and the characters and some other implementations about the game that I think are pretty cool. And also, I think they're having some free DLC if you pre-order the game. You will get a free DLC in April 7th. I think it's the Mercenaries. Yeah, the Mercenaries game mode. So that'll be pretty cool. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.